It's a little bit quicker when you baptize them in a 350-degree jacuzzi. All right, everybody, welcome back. We're going to do another episode of Fat Daddy Eats. And we're going to cook another Cajun dish, of course. That's kind of my forte. We're going to cook a crab and corn bisque. If you get to watching this video and you like what I'm doing, hey, throw me a like, throw me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to me, hey, consider subscribing to me. There's some other good recipes on here, and I've also got some reaction videos. I got some vlog videos. I got a little bit of everything on here. We talk about natural resources, what you would deal with in South Mississippi and South Louisiana. What we're going to do is we're going to make a crab and corn bisque. So we're going to start off with 2 sticks of butter. We're going to get that melting down in this pot. And then, of course, we're going to put the Trinity in there. In South Louisiana is always onions, bell pepper, and celery. That's the Trinity. You can't have the Trinity. Well, we got to have the Pope in here. So the Pope is going to be some garlic. So what I'm going to do, this is about a cup of onions, half a cup of bell peppers, and a cup of celery. And I'm going to put, what I did with my garlic was I made confit, which is, you roast your butter down, or you roast your garlic down in butter. So I made a confit. It gels everything up. You can mash it up easy. So I'm supposed to put 3 cloves of garlic. I'm just going to do 3 teaspoons of garlic in there. Then we're going to go ahead and add 1.5 pounds of cut corn in there. And we're going to cook it until our onions are clear. You've heard me say that a lot. When our onions get clear, we're going to go ahead and add in some flour. And we're going to stir that in. And what we're doing is we're making a roux. But we're not going to make the roux like I normally do for my gumbos or anything like that. It's a dark, rich roux. We're going to make a blonde roux. This is a bisque, crab and corn bisque. Once we get done with that, we're going to add in our seafood stock. I got a quart of seafood stock here. I might have to add some more water in with it. I probably am. I've got a quart of seafood stock in here. That just adds to the flavor. We're going to add in some green onions that I got right there. We're going to add in some chopped up parsley. And we're going to slowly fold in some heavy whipping cream. I've got 2 cups of heavy whipping cream here. Once we get all that in and get everything incorporated, you're going to see us add in our lump crab meat, and then we're going to add salt and white pepper.
Salt and white pepper.
We're going to do that to taste. Of course, you know that I taste. I don't do measurements on my spices. I do it all to taste. So without further ado, let's get this stuff started. And again, if this is your first time to Fat Daddy Eats, Fat Daddy cooks with beer. Sometimes I even add it in the dishes. But usually, it's this way. All right, let's see. We got 2 sticks of butter. I already had this. I've got this going on heat. I'm feeling it up top that it's already got the heat going. And as soon as I drop this butter in there, it's starting to melt. So once I get all that butter melted down, we'll be back. Add the Trinity and the Pope in there. All right, my butter is pretty clarified. Here goes the Trinity. First, my cup of onions. Now I'm going to cook these until they're, almost clear. Translucent. Alright, so the onions go in there. Then I got about half a cup of these chopped up bell peppers. I'm going to put them in there. Then I'm going to put my cup of celery in there. That's the Trinity. The Trinity is in and starting to cook, but I want to steep in some of that good flavor, which is garlic. And like I said, instead of me putting chopped garlic in there, I made some garlic confit, which is it's buttered confit, I put my garlic heads in a pan with water and a half a stick of butter and ran that water through a boil. So I heated up all that garlic so it was cooking the whole time. And when I had cooked off all the water and that butter browned, I got that good brown butter, and you can take that garlic because it gels into itself, and just take that spoon and mash it up. So it makes what's called, oh, that's roasted garlic. That's heaven on earth. I'm going to call that 2 heads of garlic, or not heads, but cloves. I'm going to call that, oh, the 3rd head. Woo! This is going to be good already. I can tell y'all. Now we're going to cook these down until those onions start getting clear. I've got it on a medium-high heat. Yes, I'm on an electric oven. I wish I was on gas. I could regulate those temps a lot faster. But this is going to be a great meal when it comes to time. So I'm going to cook these down for probably another 5-10 minutes till I start getting those clear onions, and then we'll start the next process. Alright, we aren't quite on the translucent side yet, but we're working there. I'm going to go ahead and add my corn into this as well. Get that cooking down with the Trinity and the Pope and that butter. And pretty much when we got these cooked down where they don't look like just a bunch of chopped up veggies and corn, and they start looking like some food, that's about when we're going to do our next step, which is we're going to add that cup of flour. And we're going to make that blonde roux. Then the next thing is the flour. Alright, we got our onions clear, or pretty clear. All that wet that all these veggies, when they cook down in that butter, they make their own water. But when we put this flour in there, we do it slowly, get it incorporated in, and it's going to dry everything up here and turn it into kind of like a paste. Now, like I said, I'm not taking it to a dark roux like I do with my gumbos and etouffees and stuff like that. I want a blonde roux for a crab and corn bisque. So, but what it's doing is it's taking up all these fluids. It's getting thick in there. Getting thick. That cup of flour. And I want to cook that flour down where it doesn't taste like flour. I want it melding with all the butter and the vegetable water that it released. So we're stirring this in. And this is where, when you get to this part of a crab and corn bisque, you really got to baby this thing. I'm starting to get some flour on the bottom of that pan. And cool that pan down just a smidge. Alright, my cup of flour is in there. Now, it just pretty much glued and binded everything together. We're going to stir this in. What we're going to do is bring it back to a simmer again, but we're going to do it with seafood stock and water. Because I got a quart of seafood stock, but I got a feeling I'm going to need some more liquid in here. Now when I'm putting this seafood stock in, I'm not going to just dump this whole dang quart of seafood stock. I'm going to ease a little bit in and incorporate that into that paste I made. This seafood stock was shrimp I had bought. What did I make? Oh, I made, those were some big old shrimps. I made bacon wrapped shrimp. I wanted to act like a congressman. So I made a bunch of bacon wrapped shrimp. But I took all the shells and the heads from those shrimp and boiled them down and made my seafood stock. And I poured it up in a jug and I froze it. That's what you do. You keep on using. Keep on using. This looks like mashed potatoes with veggies mixed in. But it's getting incorporated. A little bit more. Make it look soupy. And look, this is February. It's cool down here. We got another cool snap. We had a few days of high 70s, low 80s. But we got a cool snap over the weekend. Alright, there's all the seafood stock. Let me get me some water to reload. Get this incorporated in and mixed in with that flour. Oh, this is looking pretty dang good. This is going to be so rich. Another thing I didn't show y'all because I had it in the fridge was the last ingredient that you fold into this. And of course, that's the lump crab meat. And I've got a pound of lump crab meat right there. Get me some more water. So I'm going to fold some water in here and make this more soupy. I'm making a very rich based soup. I hate calling it a bisque a soup because it's thicker than that. I'm going to pull that back up to about where it starts bubbling. And at this point, I've got to stir constantly for probably about 5 to 6 minutes. Alright, so now I got some bubbles coming in here. I've cooked this, I've been stirring like a son of a gun for about, I don't know, I think probably 10 minutes. Now I'm going to add in this 2 cups of heavy cream, or a pint, if you will. We're going to add in some parsley for some color, some green onions for the same thing, and a little bit of flavor with the green onions. Oh yeah. These shallots are a secret. They're a topper at the end. And I'm going to slowly fold in 1 pound of lump crab meat. And when I do this, I'm turning my heat off completely. I'm going to let this come down. I'm going to turn that heat off, let the residual, just what it takes, get all that goodness out of there. Dude, this is looking so freaking awesome. If you've never had crab and corn bisque, oh my Lord, are you in for a rich Cajun treat? But we aren't done yet. Once I get that crab meat in there, now I got to spice it. And I told you, we're only going to use 2 spices. We're going to use, well, I say we're going to use 2. I may go for another. We're going to use salt and white pepper so we keep it all a pretty clean looking white crab and corn bisque looking thing. So I'm going to put me some salt in there. I'm going to be pretty liberal with it. 3 pinches of that salt. My white pepper, which, hey, if you've tried to look for a white pepper container that's this size in a grocery store, good luck. They got every dang pepper you can have I'm gonna add me some white pepper in there. Don't want to get it too hot. I got some folks that aren't going to want it. And white pepper really doesn't mess with your flavor. It's all about the heat. White pepper is just heat. That's all it is. I've turned off the burners. But these glass burner stoves, I'm going to tell you right now, that son of a gun stays hot. So I'm going to go ahead and move this over to the side where I don't have any more heat. And stir this in. I'm going to let that meld with the salt and the
white pepper
before, for a minute or two, pick up everything it's going to pick up before I taste. Always get a tasting spoon. Tasting spoon doesn't go back in the pot. I get a little right there, put it on my spoon. We're going to add a little more sale or salt. And we're going to add a little bit more white pepper. What I'm looking for is the heat. I can get away with a little more white pepper.
Shut your pasty chicken bone, no flip phone, Google Chrome.
Dude, this is gonna be so good. My mouth is watering just making this for y'all. Just wait till I show y'all bowling it. But before I bowl it, I gotta clean up all my mess in here. Alright, so I have served all I'm gonna serve tonight. Now it's time for me to plate up mine. Crab and corn bisque. It's a very rich dish. You get hold of this and, this whole bowl, I'm going to be full with just a bowl of crab and corn bisque. This is my leftover parsley and chives that I chopped up just to give it some color. And voila, we're going to have this dish. If you haven't mashed like, please do so. If you haven't mashed subscribe, consider doing so. I got more recipes for y'all. But I'm going to show y'all a final picture. That's going to be photos that come up. Look forward to seeing y'all in a week or so when the next video comes out. Y'all take care. It's been a pleasure cooking for y'all at Fat Daddy Eats with Rob Doherty. Y'all take care. Dad? Huh? You're going to end up on the video now.